So you guys, in your music, make sure you have a mid bass and a sub bass and also a top bass. And also with your synths, in terms of your melodies, make sure you have a top melody and a mid melody. And no. I mean, make sure you have something that's a melody or main melody, in terms of your main melody, which is over the top of the chords, has 3 different types of layers on it, while also you have a low bass or sub bass and a mid bass and a top bass to make sure that you're covering everything to do greater. See, guys, I had a moment where this lady was asking for some money from me, and I never wanted to give her money. And guess what? I mean, suddenly it's a divorce. But if you never try to give her money when she asks you, or when they ask you for it, then guess what? Unfortunately, the relationship suffers. And it's more how I had sex with her, and then we went to a nightclub, and she was saying for me to get her and a drink, and she wants. See, she wanted me for. I see she wanted me to give her money for a drink, and guess what? Apparently, I never did. So she wanted me to give her and her friend a drink at the nightclub, and I never did. And because I never did, that did kill the relationship between us. So you must understand anyway that it's much more how it is. So make sure you understand that you have to have money, and just say straight away how you feel. That you just say you have no money, or just say that you do have money, and just make sure that no matter what, that you always have money in the process when somebody asks you. So just make sure you understand straight away how you do life much better this way, so you can understand straight away to never embarrass yourself, but to be someone who's far worth knowing and far worthwhile, so you can do better. So you guys, make sure the bass is never playing when the kick is playing, so you can actually do life much greater in terms of your music production. So you can copy other people's words, so you can actually send messages to other people through words of encouragement, so you do better. So you guys, make sure that you understand where the kick starts is where the bass ends, and make sure that no matter what, before the bass and the kick starts, that the bass starts before the kick hits, so you can do better. I see, guys, when the kick drum ends, that's where the bass starts, so you do better. I see, guys, when you're making music, make sure you understand to make music in a way that you're picking out sound from spliced sounds in terms of music production, and you have all these nice and beautiful spliced sounds that you can drop into your mix, and you can make this nice and beautiful sound work for yourself, and you can do whatever you want to do in terms of life. So just start somewhere so you can do better. So you guys, if you're making effects, just make a new template altogether, and make sure you understand straight away you can go and do that with FL Studio and any type of, let's say, digital audio workstation. So if you have a mix where you're making music in a mix, inside of your digital audio workstation, then make a new template altogether to make your sound effects in, so you do better. So you guys, you can use the pitch bend on a nice beautiful synthesizer while recording in FL Studio and Logic Pro, and also a digital audio workstation, to make your sounds work, and that's how you actually understand straight away much better. But you have to understand to give more money to learn more ideas, so you can do better. So you guys, you can use an automation clip as a filter, and you can use EQ as a filter as well. In terms of music production, you can use parametric EQ too on FL Studio as a fruity filter, or you can use any kind of parametric EQ as a filter in music production. So you guys, it's very important to be able to go and read much more, and be able to read much more into what you're wanting to do, so you can get some more ideas, so you can actually work faster, and it's more important for you to do so you can do greater. So always, guys, add every single image into your videos as you can about what you talk about, so you do better. So guys, when you're working on a music track, just work by 15 seconds or 20-second gaps or 30-second gaps. And that's something I realized how I've been doing it in Dynatopia, that for 30 seconds I have this many or this amount of time to do this and this and this, or 15 seconds about this and this and this, or 20 seconds or 25 seconds I'll do this part, 25 seconds. But everything's going according to plan, and you must understand that's how I feel progressing forward. So Nico Romero is telling me something over here where I'm progressing forward, and the Dynatopia is excellent. See, portamento, guys, is when notes are sliding into notes, and you must understand that for music production. See, so always have nice and beautiful crashing in terms of crashes and rims, and also percussion, in your mix to make it sound interesting in terms of your music mix. Otherwise, your music mix never sounds interesting. So make sure you're adding sound effects as crashes and also rims and also any kind of cymbals, which are all sound effects in your music mix. So make sure you're using rims and sound effects such as anything that's percussion to add sound effects as percussion inside of your mix is what I'm talking about in the intros and outros of your mix, so you can do greater. See guys, when you're working on a music track, you work on the main melody, which is the main track first, and then everything else is a sub-track from that. You understand? So that's how you make music. And anything that else that you want to make a main melody for in the copy effect into the next effects, then you can, but make it progressive. And that way you can make a music track. I can say thank you, Nicky Romero. See guys, so for your synths, you make sure that no matter what, that you have at least 6 layers or 5 to 12 layers of synths on your synth sound melody, so you actually understand straight away how to do melodies. So for example, if you have a main melody, that you have a synth main melody with 6 layers to 12 layers on the synth melody sound, so you just do from 5 to 12 nice and beautiful layers is what Nicky Romero does, and he says that other people have around 12 layers of sounds on just one synth. So you understand straight away how powerful that synth can become. So it's more how you're making a sound, and you make a sound work like this. I see the over-the-top melody that happens is over-the-top melody like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star notion is the main melody of your track. And that's the main notion of what you need to do over the top of chords. And then over the top of chords is the main melody, which is the melody that puts into effect of 5 to 12 layers of music of sounds into that main melody, Twinkletopian kind of Twinkle Little Star sound. That's the melody of the sound. So for example, if you have a chord structure, like dun 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 dun, which that's chords, that's 3 each chords, yeah. But then you add another type of melody because of you add another type of melody which is at the top of the melody that goes like a Twinkle Little Star, like dun 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 dun. So that's over the top of the chords, yeah. So that thing in terms of that melody over the top of the chords has its own 5 layer to 12 layer sounds of its own. So make sure you understand straight away that in music production, you need to have 5 to 12 layers of music production sounds for just your main melody, which has a Twinkle Little Star connotation to it. See, I'm Brun here. I see no matter what, I'm learning how to grow myself here. And I'm growing myself over here, so I'm actually understanding straight away to just keep going. So I need to learn more, so I do be much greater. I see how guys have been stupid enough to understand that. I'm never stupid to understand, but I've been stupid before in my life where I was doing drugs and how many people were doing their business and many people were prospering in their business while I was doing drugs and being a drug addict. And that hurts, unfortunately really hurts me to understand straight away that it never hurts me to understand, but it hurts me to be able to understand that it never hurts me, but it's just the truth of how it is. I mean, at the moment I understand straight away to catch up to them. I realize there is a chance that I can catch up, but it's much more in the later stages of life. In the better stages of life, I can do something much more than them in all areas of life. I promise you now, that's the thing. So no matter what, I'm learning very quickly about competing with myself over here to just be better than yesterday for myself at least. I mean, in a sense, so I have to be better than myself and never better than other people. I have to be better than myself, and that's it. I can say as long as you're better than yourself, I promise you, you are completing the goal of life. I promise you, the goal of life is to be better than yesterday. I promise you, that's it. I promise you, people make it so difficult to become better than yesterday. I promise you, it's so easy to become better than yesterday, but you just have to work for it. I see, so guys, make sure that your bass lines always come into the drop of your music, while also 5 to 12 layers of sounds through the main melody into the filter. We go for a build-up occasion into the Nice and Beautiful track is how we actually make music. So I'm actually understanding that Nice and Beautiful Nicky Ramirez track that he's making over here. I'm making sure that no matter what I have to find the name of it, but it's a Nice and Beautiful track where it's teaching me something of the core structures of how to make a track. And now I'm looking at that Nice and Beautiful feeling and I can see it. I say, thank you, Nicky Romero. I see, so what I've done is I gave some money to learn exactly what I need to do to get to a higher level music producer type of vibe, so I can actually learn how to grow myself and dwell upon a better life. I see, guys, so you can put chords and also rises and effects inside a build-up and it works. So you guys can put any kind of sound in a Nice and Beautiful build-up. So you guys have to have some really nice feels with music production with the Nice and Beautiful percussion. So percussion is a feel. So fill up your music with percussion so that it becomes interesting. And any sound effects is percussion, or sound effects with cymbals and rims and any crashes and stuff like that. You can add to the music and add some Nice and Beautiful loops and find some loops on Splice. So make sure you understand you have all these Nice and Beautiful loops so you can put into your Nice and Beautiful music tracks and you can fill in the gaps and make some music. I see, so anything that fills is, or fills up, in terms of anything that fills is sound effects. So fill ups, in terms of fill up your music with sound effects and sounds so that it makes it all more expensive. And keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until you say stop, and that's more enough. I see also what's important is write down any kind of Nice and Beautiful synths or anything like that that you need to get for yourself so that you can see exactly what you need to do to make more music sound better. So just realize that any kind of new synths that you get will make new sounds so that you do better for yourself. And just realize every single day to write a list of aspects of life that you need to get for yourself. So I have DJ Deck, I have Omnisphere, I have Kick 2, Nicky Romero, I have Fab Filter, I have Contact and Serum and Sound Length. I also need to have courses in my life over here. So there's courses, I see packs and Splice. So what I'm doing is I'm writing down exactly what I need to do to give money for to have a better music setup and also synthesizer. Synthesizer. And there we go. Unfortunately now that's all value of something in terms of money. So I'm understanding straight away that I'm looking to mix my beautiful DJ deck and everything I'm doing. So FL Studio Mobile. So it's much more how I feel, yeah? So I'm understanding straight away how I'm writing a list of aspects of goal lists down, of bucket lists. So bucket list of aspects of sounds and stuff I need to get to make sure that I can go and get myself sounds and equipment to do a greater job for myself. So I can see straight away now that with the help of Nicky Romero's courses, I can see exactly what I need to do to help myself do greater. And I'm understanding straight away how I feel. That I have much more to say for myself over here. That I'm learning very quickly how to enjoy my life. So guys, while you're watching other people do their music production and stuff like that, be writing a list of notes down to see what you must get in terms of which synth and which plugins and stuff like that, so you can actually save money for yourself. So for example, for myself over here, I rather understand to just keep going over here so I can go and really dwell upon helping myself do greater. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm always learning. I'm learning something different along the way. I'm learning something different in terms of my life. So that's how I'm actually learning very quickly about my life, and it actually does work. So that's how I feel. See guys, so no matter what, I do better now. See, so what I'm doing now guys is I'm going for a little walk to make sure you guys understand something now. I'm learning very quickly about life over here,
I'm learning to help myself to deliver content. So no matter what, I'm learning very quickly. I'm learning very quickly about life, learning why I need to do what I do. So actually now, since I'm actually learning that more money has to go into the business, or my business, I'm actually understanding something. I'm understanding how I can do my chord structures and how I can make music. But there's only so much more music I can make, and there's only so much more, there's only so much more I can do. So first of all, I'm understanding straight away that no matter what I do, that there's time and place, and there's a time and place for everything. And what I want to do is learn how to do something by watching other people do it first, so then I can actually go and do my job for myself. So Nicky Romero taught me one structure, but with that structure I'm learning very quickly how to make more structures. But he taught me the basic elementals around what I need to do. So he counts for everything. So I'm understanding straight away that no matter what, that as I grow myself differently, I'm looking for a better way to improve my life. I'm looking for nice and beautiful ways of life over here, to go and find something of percussion. And as I find percussion, I place percussion into the software, and then I make a melody or chord progression. Now that's the only aspect of life that I need to do that's much better, is make a chord progression in my music tracks and use it to have a nice and beautiful drop build up in my music. But no matter what, I'm learning very quickly around life and how to make a nice and beautiful rhythm. So now if I make a rhythm, I make sure that no matter what I do, I'm learning very quickly about life. And I'm making sure that no matter what, that I can go and really dwell upon life itself to help myself to grow the financial art of persuasion for myself, which is all different. And now, is it worthwhile for me to give more money to have more courses to study much more about everything? Unfortunately, yes. So it's much more worth it for me to understand straight away that no matter what I do, that I'm learning very quickly about life and how to put my music tracks into key. So every single time I'm learning very quickly about using everything in terms of using everything I need to make sure that everything is one key for my music tracks. So what I do is I make a template that explains everything for me, and once I make this nice and beautiful template, I make a template and I rename everything, and I can start straight away with my nice and beautiful sound production. And that way I'm understanding straight away what I need to do. So I'm actually understanding something now. I'm understanding that there's plenty of time to make music. So making sure that no matter what, that as I grow myself differently, I need to be more of a student at first. I need to make better kind of music. I need to make better music for myself over here, to actually grow and learn for myself, to be able to go and prosper myself into a nice and beautiful rhythm of life. So no matter what, I'm learning very quickly that it's much more how I feel, that no matter what I do, that I'm looking for a better way of life. So every single time now, I'm learning how to enjoy myself differently, and I'm learning how to understand straight away how I need to feel about life differently, and how I need to be nice and beautiful for myself. But to make sure that no matter what I do, that I'm looking for a better way of life, that I'm learning how to help myself to exemplify something greater, and I'm learning how to become the best version of myself, and how I need to actually grow myself in the process. So what I do is I'm learning very quickly to just study much more other people and how they do their work. And the more I watch and the more I read from them, and the more I pick up ideas from them, the faster and the quicker I do my work. So I'm understanding that no matter what, I've watched Nicky Romero and how he does it in some aspects of life. I'm understanding that I still have part 3 to go, and then I can actually go and give more money to get serum and silence in my vocabulary. And now it's nice and beautiful for me to go and do that for myself, but it's much more how I feel that no matter what I do, that I'm still alone in making music, still alone at doing everything. But how am I going to picture anything is I learned something very quickly, that no matter what, I can use a fab filter. In terms of I can use a filter to put my synths together to make sure that it rises into the nice and beautiful equation. So I can understand straight away that every single time, in terms of every single time I learn something, I'm learning very quickly about the art of persuasion and the art of doing something, but everything is going away from me very quickly. So I need to understand straight away that everything I do now is something different, and what I want to do is something much more. So I want to make percussion that actually works out for me, and what I want to do is help myself to understand straight away that there's a difference between what I'm doing and how to do it. I'm understanding straight away now. I'm understanding straight away now that if I do anything nice and beautiful for me to grow, I understand straight away to just go and really, really lift myself up in the temptation of life, to go and really, really dwell upon a better way for myself to grow. And that's how I really feel. I feel different. I feel different in terms of my life. I feel that no matter what, I have that nice and beautiful feeling that says, hey, I'm learning very quickly about what I need to do. So I'm looking for the better opportunity. So the better opportunity of what? I mean, just to learn and study how other people do their work. And once I have that knowledge about everything and how much more work I need to do, and the more actually I get better in terms of the more I get better in terms of what I want to do. So no matter what, I realize Nicky Romero, of course, is going to teach me something about life. And I realize he's teaching me about music production because I'm learning about music production with myself and everything. So I'm understanding straight away that I need to be on top of life. And I need to be on top of life every single day to be able to go and grow myself differently, yeah? So every single time I'm picking up a little bit of pace now, and I'm learning how to grow myself differently, and I'm learning how, yes, that Nicky Romero did help me in some aspects of life, and he done in terms of did show me some aspects of life that helps me grow, but I never want to kill anything. I make sure everything I do is nice and beautiful. So I'm making sure that no matter what, that as I grow myself differently, I'm looking for a better way to improve. So I see everything I do now is a matter of sequenced. So I'm understanding straight away that no matter what, that as I put my nice and beautiful music track together, I can see straight away how I feel. And now, who's going to listen to my music track? A bunch of people. A bunch of all that. Now, that's the thing. A bunch of everything in terms of life I do is something different. So no matter what I do, that I'm learning very quickly about life, and I'm learning how I need to go and grow myself in the best occasions to help myself to enjoy myself differently is what I need to do. So everything in terms of life is happening for me to prosper every single day, and I'm learning very quickly about life. I see, so everything in terms of life now, in terms of what I'm doing, is helping me to. I mean, everything I'm doing right now. I see everything I'm doing right now is helping me to grow much more wisdom about life. And I'm learning how to pick up other people's ideas, to use other people's ideas in my projects, so I can go and dwell into I see, so I can go and do well in terms of life in a greater way and fashion. So once I wake up in the morning, I'll go for a walk from now on. I'll go for a little walk, and I'll go for a walk to go and be in nature at my dad's house, especially because of my dad's physical house. And I do that every single time I wake up to just relax and enjoy myself and find a new spot and find a new montage for me to do greater. And what I need to do is much more Instagram work as well. So I'm understanding something now. I'm understanding that no matter what, that there's a better time and place for everything, and I leave everything open for me to do right now. And how do I really do that? I do it in different ways. I do nice and beautiful work always in different ways. I'm making sure I'm learning very quickly how to live my life differently, and I'm showcasing my life in different ways. I'm showcasing myself in the best kind of ways, and I'm learning very quickly about how to enjoy myself in the best ways possible. So everything I do in my life is different, and what I want to do now is help myself to learn and understand straight away how to speak. I have to learn and understand how to speak to you guys much more differently, and I'm learning to practice and practice and practice around what I need to do. So definitely courses. I need courses. I need to have courses in my life, and I need to give money to have courses, to learn some courses in my life. So no matter what, I see my music production. I see now the melody chord progression is what I need to figure out. And now that's the thing. Actually, now with the melody chord progression in trance music is different. I have the rhythm, and now the rhythm goes together into one sound, and that's something that actually helps me to grow differently. Is the sounds go together, but the chords are something different, and the chords are something different that helps to escalate the sound in different ways. And there's a melody over the top that actually goes into the fruition of center. But then the up melody is something different, and the up melody is something I need to go and layer. I need to layer the sound quality of an ARP much better. Just the same as the over the top melody, and I need to put a bass line in the music as well. And now the bass line in the music is something different. So I'm making different chord structures, I'm making different elements of life, I'm making it all together. And what else? Well, actually, it's more how I feel. I feel that no matter what kind of sound do I want to produce, like dun 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 dun. Well, actually, now that's Alvin Burns melody. Well, actually, it's more how I feel. I need to make a chord progression. So that chord progression can be a melody that rocks my boat, that goes into a trance melody somehow, and I need to be able to draw melodies. I need to learn how to draw a melody properly. So I can draw rhythms, I can draw arps, I can draw an arp melody, I can draw chords. I see it's more how I need to grow myself differently. So no matter what, that as I'm growing myself differently, I can draw little melodies, I can draw melodies over the top, and it's all different. And it's all different the way chord melodies go. And melodies are different for everything. And it's much more how I feel. So no matter what I do, I'm learning how to grow myself. So every single time I'm learning very quickly how to produce music. I'm learning how to do my life much greater. So I realise every single time I'm learning how to produce that nice and beautiful music. So I'm learning the quick architectures of living life quickly. So it's more how art melodies are something that I can draw into the equation, and it's much more how it is. And I'm learning very quickly about life. So it's more how I understand straight away how I need to exemplify to help myself to teach people something about life. And that way I'm learning very quickly about life itself. So no matter what I do, I'm looking for a better way to improve my life. So every single day, I'm learning how to throw money back into my education. I'm looking to understand that. I'm looking to help myself to do a greater job for myself, to understand straight away that I deserve to love my life differently, and I deserve to help myself to live my life much greater. But to live my life much greater, I need to go and develop myself into a better frenzy and a better individual for myself to grow myself, and that's why I'm growing myself differently. I would say that's why I'm learning very quickly about life, and that's why I'm enjoying myself in the process of what I'm doing. So I feel that no matter what, that if I only ever use one structure of music, that it does work to use one structure into music production, and you can perfect the music production yourself, and you can understand straight away how you need to develop strengths and services to understand straight away that you need to go and do it alone, and that you need to go and do your music alone and throughout life. So no matter what, it's more how I feel. I feel different. I feel that no matter what, that as I grow myself differently, I'm looking for long areas of life. I'm looking for the big attempt over here. I see it's much more how I feel. I feel that no matter what, that my life is different, and every single 15 seconds something in the music has to change, and just learn that. I mean, learn how to develop yourself into the frenzy that you need to be, and no matter what, that it's much more how it can always be that way for you. I mean, just then I realized something. I realized it's much more how I feel, that you can get your different sounds. You can get different sounds, but I realize every single day how Nicky Romero does it. And I see how he makes all these sounds happen. And you can enjoy yourself, and you can get your sound products of what you want, and you can use packs, and you can use people's packs and splice sounds to go and make music happen for yourself. And that way you're downloading everything and you put it to your computer, and that way you're enjoying yourself. And how much music do I want to make? Actually, it's more how I feel. I feel that no matter what, that there's no limits until I understand straight away that there's a limit only until you make no limits. Actually, I have no limits to what I can do. I realize every single time I'm learning very quickly about life, and I'm learning how to grow myself differently, and I'm learning how to help myself to succumb to an action force, to watch other people do their stuff, and to actually read from other people before I do my music production. And what I'm doing is pouring money into courses for myself, to have these courses for myself, to understand straight away that I need to grow myself differently, and I need to pour money into masterclasses and courses for myself, to watch these courses for myself, to be able to help myself to do music production. And every single time I'm making sure that no matter what, that I can make a melody, I can make melodies, but I need to open up my previous melodies to see how I went about it, and it's much more how it is. And no matter what I do, I'm learning very quickly about how to make rhythms, so it's much more how I feel. So as I feel throughout life, I'm looking for a better way of life. I'm looking to understand that melody can only be done in different ways, so making sure that no matter what, that as I grow myself differently, I'm looking for better ways to do melodies. I'm looking to understand that straight away I can do melodies. I can do melodies and rhythms around that melody. That's the top half of melody in terms of, that's the top half of the melody. And everything that's over the top half of the melody, that's the top half of the melody, can be different. In terms of different rhythms, can be over the top of that melody, can be different altogether. So no matter what, I realize something now. That since I have an over the top melody I have an over the top melody of a chord that I can do for myself. That I can do chords and I can do over the top melodies. And that is I can say over the top melodies that I do is something that's relating to the rhythm of the music. And I make my melody, which is over the top melody, rock the boat inside of the music track. And I build a track over the top half of the melody. And yeah, I can do that. That's how I've done it with my Twinkletopia. So Twinkletopia is the best way to do it now. For sure, Twinkletopia is the best way to do what I need to do. And I'm learning very quickly how to help myself to deliver content. So no matter what I do, that's much more how it is. And I'm learning very quickly how to add energy in the music and stuff like that. And it's much more how I feel that no matter what I do. Now I was looking confused because I look at Armin van Buuren's melodies and I'm like, how can I make his melodies? Well, you never want to make his melodies. I can say you want to make your own melodies. Make your own melodies. And I have no trouble listening and watching other people do their own thing. I see straight away that as soon as you get education from other people, or you give money to get education, then guess what happens? Actually, you get better. And you get better at something, and you get better at some aspect of your life. So because I gave money to see Nicky Romero's course, I also see the synths he's making and the synths he has as well. And I'm using his synths and plugins as well, so I'm pouring money into that. I'm understanding straight away that no matter what, I'm learning very quickly how to be a music producer. So more money needs to go into the programs. So then you go and make sure that you make a custom template and make yourself a template to work quicker, is what I learned. And that way I'm learning very quickly to keep going with the rhythms and everything I do with rhythms. But it's all how it feels to fill up the sound is what Armin van Buuren says. That you fill up the sound and that way you're learning how to grow yourself. And you have to make your sound more expensive. Learn to make your sounds more expensive. So it's more how it is. So as you grow in your life and as you make music, grow your sound in a more expensive manner. So if you have a melody that's just one melody there, then make sure you go and put a kick to it and then put some energy to it and fill up that sound. And now where do you want that sound? Or let's just say you have to pick a structure of the music track, yeah? So what do you want to do? Where do you want to start in your structure? Do you want to start the build up, or do you want to start at the intro or outro? Or do you want to start at the drop? What do you want to do? So obviously that's why Nicky Romero is starting at the drop, yeah? I mean, he starts doing the drop first. I understand, and I was doing it without structure. I was doing my music without structure. And now I'm actually understanding something. Now I can see straight away how to do live. So for myself over here, I understand straight away how to put my music in structure. So then for my music production to really exist, I start doing the drop first, and then I make 3 minutes of the track, and I move on, yeah? But the thing is, when you're making longer music happen, actually, what's the structure of longer music? Actually, it's keep attention and keep the attention of the crowd. Actually, that's what the music is. I understand? So if you want to make long music happen, then you have to keep attention of the crowd for that whole set and for the whole of the 1 hour. So if you understand straight away how to make long music now, that in the structure of long music, that the drop is half the track and half the track is a chill track. So what do you want to do? I mean, you have to understand straight away that you have to make the energy track first. I mean, make the energy music first, and guess what? Actually, it's more how it is. And you have to understand straight away how nice and beautiful I am now, because I see straight away how to make structure around my music. So no matter what, I'm looking at my Idolatopia over here. I'm looking to understand long breakdowns. I understand straight away how I feel. So if I start anywhere, I just start anywhere. I start doing a breakdown, for example. I mean, I do the breakdown, and I start manifesting the track. But as long as it's something that people want to listen to, I mean, I can start at the breakdown, or I can start at the drop. I mean, what do I want to do? But then once it goes to the drop, it goes to a smaller drop, kick, and I just remove from the drop. I mean, I remove sounds from the drop. And that way, I'm learning very quickly. I find how long I want the drop to be. So let's say 1 minute drop, and 1 minute drop, and then goes into a breakdown for 1 minute, or 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. Then I understand straight away how to do this music track much better. And I'm actually understanding straight away that no matter what, that the structure of the music has to be worthwhile. And it's much more how it is. So no matter what, it's more how I feel that I'm making long music compositions. But because I'm making long music compositions, I feel that no matter what, that my track with Amona Graffia sets the stage for me to do better. And I have to do better than that. Because yes, I did make the track nice and beautiful, and it does change, but it's losing grip. I mean, it's never that interesting, because there's plenty of mistakes in it. And why is that? Because I understand, because the music track's working, but it's too repetitive. I mean, it's too repetitive, and there's a lot of space there, and it needs more expensive material in it. Or she needs more in it. Or she needs more, let's say, sounds to go with it. I promise you now, what I'm understanding straight away about life is understanding straight away that no matter what I do, I'm learning how to just keep going. I promise you, it's more how I feel. That no matter what, that if you want to catch the attention of the crowd, then you have to do a great job for that way of life. So no matter what I do, that since I'm actually understanding to go and actually work on a better track, I'm understanding straight away how I feel. I feel that no matter what, that it's more how I understand straight away that it's just how it is. And if you start off a slow track, and if you start off slow, Russian people get bored. Russian people get bored. But do they really? Russia, yes. Russia, they do. You have to keep their interest. I mean, you have to take people on a journey with your music production. So once you take people on a journey with your music production, then it actually works out. I'm actually understanding something.
I'm understanding that structure never did work. See, so anyway, so if I'm monographia, it's just too slow for me. It's too slow. Now what's the difference between monographia and Ozonify? Ozonify can catch your attention much more quicker, and it has a much more quicker abundance feel to it. But it's much more how I feel. That it's just a progression, and the progression is what I mean. So that's why monographia never did work out, because there was no progression in it. There was no progression. The progression was too slow. I have to use the decimal points of time with numbers to exemplify change within the music track, to change the music track very quickly. And that's why I'm understanding straight away that the nice and beautiful sounds that went into monographia were just too slow. It was too slow to come out across. So no matter what, it's more how it is. So I mean, the sounds are there, but since the sounds are there, that I need to make faster progression. I need to make a faster progression. So as I make my music now, I start off with a progressional type of way, and I just keep going. I just keep going with the progression of the music, and I build it up to the actual sound track where it's actually progressing, and then I move on and I make something different. And I make something different from with sounds. Promise you from the same sounds, yeah? But make sure you understand to orchestrate different progressions of melodies differently. And now there's only so much more you can do in that track. So it's more how I feel. Now if you're doing something to help your life to succeed differently and to help yourself to understand how to manifest, then you should follow. I promise you that you understand straight away that you're growing yourself, yeah? And make sure you understand straight away that I promise you have to be able to live your life differently. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm learning how to grow myself differently, to have more progression in the music, to understand straight away that as long as more progression happens in your music and you have aspects of different attempts and different ways of making music and different stuff coming into the music, but it stays interesting the whole way. Even if the melody is changing into something new. I understand, and the reason something's new all the way in my music is because I did use a parametric EQ to give my sense of knowing, to give the nice beautiful music track something new to deliver, that it's actually happening, that the music is changing all the way through, but it never sounds like it much. I mean you're saying yes, I say yes, that the music is changing, but it never really does change the way I need it to. So I can never rely on the parametric EQ2 to exactly do the job for me. I mean, you understand? I promise you. And now I was unable to do a mix. I was unable to do a 9-minute mix with the monographia. And why is that? I'm saying because the thing is about life over here, I have to just go and do my content elsewhere because my dad's working at the construction site over there. So I'm saying straight away how I feel. So what I feel now is I show you guys very quickly. Now I'm learning very quickly how to live my life. But actually, it's much more how my music track is something that's progressing, but it never did sound like it was a progression. And now I'm understanding something now. I'm understanding that no matter what I do, I'm looking to help myself to grow. So I'm understanding now that I start off my music tracks in my actual 1 hour music with a progression. And I do the full energy track. I do full energy tracks. I just start off with an energy track and I just make sure that it's all energy. And how do I make energy tracks happen? I mean, I have to do something to make it happen, yeah? And now it just has to be a progressive order. It just has to be progressive. And there's no drops like a build-ups or anything like that. It's just full on energy music that's actually working. I mean, you understand? And then it just goes into energy and no energy, and energy and no energy, and then with the Nice and Beautiful track, it's just like that, and then it goes into a breakdown totally, and then it goes into energy again, and then guess what? Then I have to change sounds. I have to change sounds, but to change sounds, I'm realizing something now. I'm realizing it's more how it is. But no matter what I do, I mean, I have to layer my sounds. I have to layer my sounds to do different aspects of life differently. And now, I'm not saying that no matter what, that if I have just one sound on it, that it can work out. Or if it can work out. Or if it can work out. But the thing is that I'm not saying straight away how Nicky Romero does his job. And now Nicky Romero does his job with the build-up. And he makes a Nice and Beautiful drop first. I mean, he makes the drop first, and he starts with the drop. With the percussional drop, which he starts with the percussions in the drop. And he makes the chord progression. And then from the chord progression and the drop, then he goes into the build-up. And then he shows me from that point that he goes into the intro, and how he does the intro, and then he does the outro like he does the intro, but just with a nice beautiful melody. And it's a simple, straightforward way to make music. It's simple and straightforward to just have that kind of structure for yourself. But 1 hour music is something different. And that's something that I have to learn myself. And now I'm understanding straight away how I can do a nice and beautiful 1 hour mix. I'm understanding how I can do a nice and beautiful track like Nicky Romero's track. I can do that. I can do exactly that. I can do what he's doing just in my way. I can do it my way. See, my way or the highway. I mean, do you understand? I mean, guess what? It's more how it is. But the thing is, I'm understanding something now. I'm understanding that no matter what, that if I apply the bass lines and the layering of my sounds into just my top melody sound, I have to do all that inside of my long mixes as well, and all my long mixes as well. But the thing is, with long mixes, I have to go and make it a nice and beautiful sound track that's vibing in percussional sounds, and I have to pick out all these percussional sounds that's actually going to work in a progressive manner. So I have to make sure that no matter what, that I'm looking for a progressive type of tone. And I start off with the drop, and then it goes into a smaller drop, and then it goes into a breakdown, then it goes into a drop again. And now I have to show different sounds along the way. And then as I make music, I make sure that no matter what, that it shows me different aspects of the music quickly. And no matter what, I'm learning very quickly about how to make music. So every single time I'm understanding straight away, I'm learning how it does work out for me to pick out these different sounds and fill up the music with different sounds. Actually, it does work out for me. Actually, it does work out totally. But that's the thing. Actually, now, when you have the full sound, I mean, what do you do now? Actually, now you have to change it and have to make different sounds. Actually, you have to make different sounds. So what do you do? I mean, go and pick out new sounds. Go and pick out new sounds with the same rhythms and with the same melodies, but pick out new sounds and then combine it together to make a progressive with it. And then just keep going like that. And make sure it's percussional as well. Just make sure it's percussional, but that it's progressive and it's something that people want to hear. I understand? And now it's different music, of course, but at least it's going to grab your attention. And it grabs people's attention. And now I have to humanize it as well. I have to make sure it's humanizing. I have to make sure it's all humanizing itself. Now, of course, it does work out. Of course, it does work out for me to make music now. And the over-the-top melody is something that I have to go and really, really dwell upon, always using Nicky Romero's type of way. I'm actually learning how to do that. But now, over-the-top melody is something different, and it's something that actually does work out.
And I can actually do that. I can do that in a music trend. But what I want to do in my music trend of my progressive order is I want to make a rhythmic sound that's actually so rhythmic that you never even understand that it's a rhythmic track, that it's happening, and that you understand that it's just in your face, and it's in your face and it's working out, and sounds are coming in and out, but you're listening to it, and you're listening to it, but you're not quite sure what's coming in and out, but yes you are. It's just like my track 1, the 1, and it's actually just something that's actually coming in and out of the track. It's actually working out, and it's just like that, and it's just thin sounds, and I'm filling up the music trend. I'm filling up the music trends with more sounds, and sounds are coming in and out. But I start off with the intro. I make the intro, so the intro can be a breakdown. I can make an intro breakdown, for example, and then I can layer it, and I can do it differently. I can start off with something different. I never need to start off with a kick. I can name it 1 hour, and then I can change it up with how I want it. But no matter what, I feel how and understand straight away how to make a track. But it's much more how I'm really dwelling upon Nicky Romero's side of things now. I feel I understand straight away how I'm growing. And now, Nicky Romero, of course, does show me exactly what he does, exactly, in his music tracks. And it does work out for me too. But I'm understanding straight away that now, for myself at least, in terms of at most, I'm looking for better ways of dealing with life. So what I want to do now is I want to go and learn from Nicky Romero, because I still have his part 3 course to do. And I go and check it out, and I stay tuned with you guys and make you guys stay in tune with me, so I can do a greater job for myself, so I can live my life to the best of my ability. See, anyway, so what I want to do is different aspects of life differently. But how does Cosmic Gate make their sounds? Now, Cosmic Gate makes their sounds by making a progressive order, and into the vocals they go. That's it. Now, I want to be able to go and see to the shops to get soy milk and juice, and that's it. So soy milk and juice and bolognese sauce. Now, what can I have tonight to eat and drink? I can have some water. Do I have food for tonight? Yeah, I do have food for tonight, but I'd rather go to the store anyway. I'd rather go to the store to grab something to eat and drink. Because it works out for me. So, anyway, I'm learning how to dwell upon life much greater. Yeah, so anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm learning how to grow myself differently, and I'm helping myself to explain more. But my Twinkle Little Star, in terms of my Twinkletopiya, is excellently done, and that's a track that's actually worthwhile. It actually does work, and now that's the kind of template I need to do. But the kind of template I need to do is all of my nice and beautiful 1 hour sets and more. My template that I really need to do is everything I've done in terms of music production until now. Everything I've done until now, I need to do in terms of my structures all together. I see now that gives me a whole range of structures to do much greater. But the one structure out of all my music is our Twinkletopiya. Our Twinkletopiya shows me exactly how to make a melody
and sing over it, and how to progress it with new sounds, and how to make it what it is, much greater. And it does work out. I mean, that just shows me on its own that it's a worthwhile track. Project now, Adonotopia shows me how to make different progressions within the mix to make sure that everything is happening inside the music track, and it helps me out to explain much more about life. So I'm understanding straight away how I Die Should Never Kill shows me how to use EQ to make sure I can go into a long breakdown, to just make sure that I'm learning very quickly about life and how to actually persuade people to listen to music. And it does work out. I'm pretty sure that I'm alone in the music genre. I'm alone in doing my music production, and I probably sure people never care, but they do care. Or should they never care about me, and they do care about me. I promise you, it's more how I feel. You guys have to understand straight away how much money goes into music production. I've already given around $25,000 to just have my music production around. I mean, do you guys understand? I mean, first of all, I've given efforts, I've given a lot of time into it. And it's nice to go and play your music somewhere as well. So if you have a music genre that you want to play in front of a crowd, you make your own promotion and then go. And of course, make it all for free, so you do better.